evening, Mr. and Ms. Internet, and all our ships at sea. It's time, once again, for the Freeway Forum, coming to you live and direct from the world-famous 405 freeway in beautiful, sunny Southern California. My name is Atari, and this is a show driven by you. This is a show where we talk about things, we talk about the topic of the day, and we invite your feedback, we invite your comments. I am busy driving in traffic, so I don't always see your comments, but please feel free to join the conversation, and you guys talk amongst yourselves if I am not available to respond. So, with that being said, let's jump into today's topic. So, it is a sad day for us thrill seekers from Georgia. Six Flags Over Georgia has announced that they will be closing. They will be closing and dismantling the fabled Georgia Cyclone roller coaster. It's been in the park since 1990. It's not one of the. It's not a classic roller coaster, but it is one of the new breed of wooden roller coasters that came about in the 90s. The Georgia Cyclone is, while it's not as old, or while it's not considered a classic, wooden roller coaster, it is I believe a one-for-one replica of the world famous Coney Island Cyclone roller coaster. The famous Coney Island Cyclone. I think it's the only thing left at Coney Island at Astroland Park now, unfortunately. Everything else has kind of been torn down so they can build high-end condos, just like every other seaside resort in the freaking United States. Nobody wants to have seaside amusement parks anymore. They just want the dang seaside condominium and sell it for $10 million, and nobody will ever be able to afford it except people who already have such things. So I want to know what your thoughts are on the Georgia Cyclone. If you've ridden it, if you're a fan, if you're not a fan, I understand people call it the brain scrambler because it tends to beat you about the head and shoulders. But what is your favorite roller coaster? What is your favorite thrill ride? So thrill seekers, please let me know what you think. We'll talk about it. John says the Beast at Kings Island is the best wooden roller coaster. And Son of Beast was awesome until they shut it down when someone died. Yes, I kind of remember these stories. The Beast, that was the one where the guy stood up and went through the tunnel, right? He was standing up while he went through the tunnel and got decapitated or something like that. But the Beast is actually. American Coaster Enthusiasts consider the Beast one of the greatest roller coasters, one of the greatest roller coaster thrills in the United States. And it may even be the world, I don't know. Interstate 285, thank you, Mary. For those of you who are not from Atlanta and not familiar with the terror that is Interstate 285, good God Almighty, I don't wish that upon anybody. That's what people tell me. People say, when I moved to LA, they're like, don't you, what about the traffic? Is the traffic so bad? I'm like, dude, 285 is worse. I will take Los Angeles. I will take the 101. I'll take the Hollywood Freeway through the middle of downtown Los Angeles any day of the week over 285 around the top end. But that's just me. I want to know your thoughts. 285, is it a thrill ride? Is it not a thrill ride? I guess it depends on the time of day too. Rush hour traffic, you're not moving very fast. But other times of the day, the 60 mile an hour speed limit is just sort of a suggestion. You just kind of a loose suggestion there. Son of Beast was too rough on the downforce and literally beat someone to death. Good God. Oh my gosh. It has a loop in a wooden... I didn't know they had loops in wooden roller coasters anymore. Actual, vertical loop in a wooden roller coaster? I don't think they've done that since like the 20s when people got whiplash on things. When they didn't actually have rails. It was just more of a ramp and some casters, and you hope for the best. Oh boy, so that's what happened, huh? 285 on a Saturday is the ultimate thrill ride. Yeah, that's not a thrill to do it every year. There's Michael. What's up, buddy? I was asking your brother about you earlier, so that's why. 285, not a thrill. Doing it every weekend. I used to do 285 every freaking day. I worked in Dunwoody, lived in Marietta. It was either 285 or 120, and 120, of course, being a surface highway, that just wasn't happening. But I would jump on, I would get on 285, and then I would get off at Roswell Road, and then I would take circuitous pig path back roads through neighborhoods and stuff in East Cobb, try to get back over to Marietta. It's about trying to take Whitlock Avenue out of Marietta during rush hour. That's ugh, good grief. It's you don't want to go anywhere for a while. Oh my goodness. So anyway, favorite roller coasters, favorite thrill rides besides 285. John says Beast and Son of Beast until it killed somebody. You know what? I haven't honestly given this a whole lot of thought. I love thrill rides. I'm a huge thrill seeker. I love thrill rides. Love roller coasters. Hammy, if you know Hammy keeps trying to get me to jump out of a perfectly good airplane. I'm I'm not that much of a thrill seeker. I prefer something with a little more engineering to it. Which, not to say that, there's not any engineering going into riding the Silk home, but yeah, I actually wanted to be a roller coaster designer for a while. I wanted to get into mechanical engineering and design roller coasters, and I don't know why I didn't pursue that. I think because the siren call of broadcasting was just too much. It was too much for me, and it. 19 years old, I just didn't want to do enough math. I didn't want to do as much math. And now look at me. I'm freaking teaching electronics to kids and doing scientifically science and STEM-centered videos on the YouTube. And Amanda, what do you remember? What do you remember, Mandy? I don't know what you remember. I saw you mention the mine train, the Dahlonega mine train at Six Flags. That was a fun roller coaster. It's a cute little roller coaster. It's just a mine train. It's nothing special, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a nice little ride. I was definitely scared of that ride for a long time too. I wouldn't ride it for years until I rode the Scream Machine, and I'm like, this is the best thing ever. I love roller coasters. And then I ride the mine train, and I'm like, why was I scared of this? But I think it's because I rode it one time and it was night and there were strobe lights and it was noisy and I'm like, I can't handle this. I'm stemming. Oh, my roller coaster designer. Yeah, that was a phase. It was a bit of a phase. I kind of Magic Mountain's Viper. I think it's still there. Chris. CJ popped in. I think it's still there. It was there last time I was at Magic Mountain. Flashback's not there, which Flashback was actually at Six Flags Over Georgia before it was at Six Flags Magic Mountain. It was called the Z-Force, and they got rid of it because somebody died on that roller coaster too. It's usually what happens is they'll have a roller coaster in there and it pushes the envelope so much that somebody just dies. No, Flashback is long gone. But yeah, it used to be the Z-Force at Six Flags Over Georgia, and then somebody died, they dismantled it, moved it across the country, hope nobody noticed, and called it Flashback. And then I think somebody died on that too. And Six Flags was just like, nope, no more. So Viper at Magic Mountain, that's a cool roller coaster. Yeah, Viper and Ninja both are cool roller coasters. I like the Viper at Six Flags Over Georgia. That's an early, what did they call them? They didn't call them hyper coasters back then. They called them super coasters, I think. And they were pushing the envelope with inversions and things like that. They were really, really going for the new It's a new tubular steel kind of stuff, new design, new construction, new techniques, and so they were able to do these sort of new maneuvers. But the Ninja at Six Flags Over Georgia will beat you to death if you don't hold your head back against the headrest. Ninja at Six Flags Over Georgia is something else now. Same coaster, different color. Of course it is. They probably rethemed it to fit like Batman versus Superman or something like that, which is dumb because they already have a Batman and a Superman, so whatever. After Viper and Ninja, Georgia was disappointing. It was a standard Ninja and Viper, just Montezuma's Revenge from Knott's. Yeah. yes, the Viper at Six Flags Over Georgia is more or less Montezuma's Revenge from Knott's Berry Farm. But Montezuma's Revenge is actually a lot smaller. The loop is only like, I think it's only like a 25-foot loop versus the one at the Viper at Six Flags Over Georgia, which was actually, it was actually a ride called, I think it was just called the Switchback at Carowinds in North Carolina, and they moved it. Six Flags bought it from Carowinds when Carowinds was failing horribly, and then Paramount bought them out, and then Paramount started failing horribly, and then they sold to Cedar Fair. I know a lot about theme parks for reasons, but yeah, so Six Flags bought the Switchback from Carowinds, moved it to Georgia, called it the Viper, themed the hell out of it. I loved the theming at the Viper, and the ride is fun. The ride's really really fun, but you're right, it is kind of a nothing ride, especially for waiting in line for so long. It's over in 30 seconds. Why would you wait for 3 hours to ride a 30-second Switchback loop? But I remember doing that, and my dad loves the Viper. My dad freaking absolutely loves the Viper, and he was so sad when it moved away. And I'm like, oh hey, by the way, I'm like a block from Knott's Berry. Well, I'm actually like 3 blocks from Knott's Berry Farm, but whatever. I'm like 3 blocks from Knott's Berry Farm, and they have the Viper. And he's like, yay, let's go! And I'm like, come on! Australian reasons. There's a story there. If I have time, I'll go into that story. If I don't have time to go into that story, CJ, be my guest. Please tell this story for our friends. That is that was an interesting story. Golly, that was a million damn years ago too. Million daggone years ago. So yeah. We were talking about the Viper at freaking Magic Mountain, dude. Oh my gosh, this is absolutely one of my favorites. Anyway, at Magic Mountain they have it's a roller coaster called X2, and it's ridiculous. Oh my gosh, it is a multi-sensory thing, is the best way I can describe it. It is epic. The train is actually, you don't sit in the car on the train. The seats are actually suspended on an axle off to the side of the train, which runs in the center. So you're like hanging off to the side of the train. It's weird. Weird kind of construction. You have to look at a picture of it. Google X2 Magic Mountain and you'll see what I'm talking about. And this thing, it runs through its maneuvers, and it's a hyper coaster. It is very much a hyper coaster. It is faster, higher, taller, all that stuff. It's part of that new version, of roller coasters where they're just breaking every freaking envelope now in the 21st century. And so it goes through these maneuvers, and as you're going through the cobra rolls and the corkscrews and the twists and the turns of the track, the loops and everything, the seats are also rotating, and so you get these 2 different axes of movement. There's 2 different axes of movement, in addition to like fire and like sound and music and Arlie Ermy yelling at you during the ride saying, "You're too weak, you can't handle this ride. You're a maggot, you can't handle it." It was weird. Tron comes to Disneyland in 2021. Yes! The Tron roller coaster, finally, we're getting our Tron roller coaster in Disneyland. I am so ridiculously stoked about that. Yes, thank you, CJ. Have a great day, buddy. For the rest of you, Tron roller coaster, yes. Yeah, Disney trip in 2021. Probably 2022, I would really say, like, give it a year. That way, all the hype is done and the lines kind of like die down some. But yeah, by then, of course, 2021, Star Wars Land will be open. Marvel Studios at Disney California Adventure will be, I think, should be open by then. And so they're going to have a Marvel, like a Captain America roller coaster at Disneyland. So they're going to have like some big e-ticket rides at Disneyland by that time. So yes, absolutely. Let's have a Disney trip. Y'all come out here. We're just going to have a good old time. Everybody's invited. Everybody in the Freeway Forum. Yes, you're all invited. Sure, why not? Southern California, there's plenty of... Southern California will welcome you. I go through that spot every time, and you know where I am. You can, if you know this road, if you know where I am, you know where I am at this point in time. I am by Long Beach Airport now. So anyway, so X2 is just phenomenally ridiculous roller coaster. And definitely on my short list of favorites. And yes, it is at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Superman at Six Flags Over Georgia, also fantastic roller coaster, brilliant roller coaster, love it. As opposed to Superman at Six Flags Magic Mountain. I'm not a big fan of Six Flags Magic Mountain Superman. It's cool, but it's like the Viper. It's disappointing. You don't want to wait 3 hours just to go whoop up a tower and then fall back down. It's just not worth it to me. It's a cool experience to do once and then you're done. I remember that time we were at Six Flags and the Daredevil coaster broke and those people were stuck on it looking. Yes, oh God, that was hilarious. Oh dear. Yes. They're just sitting there like, oh, what do I do? And that's made by Intamin, and Intamin actually, like, they kind of have a reputation for breaking a lot. I do a lot of research about this because it's something that's fun for me as a way to kill time while I'm waiting on a ride. And yeah, Intamin Designs, they have a bad reputation for like maintenance pigs and just ride designs that are just they're too much maintenance and they break down way too easily. The Windseeker, if you guys remember the Windseeker at Knott's Berry Farm, it was that big tower thing with the swings on it. Oh my god, I don't like that ride, and I did not like that riding that ride. I was white-knuckling the dang safety bar the whole time. And, of course, everybody's like, whee, yay, look, it's Orange County, yay. And I'm like, ah! Yeah, just screaming the whole, ah! Oh, but the Windseeker, it finally bit the dust when people got trapped at the top for like 6 hours, and Cedar Fair just said, no, we're done with this. No, it's going away. And thankfully it's gone. And yeah, so I did not like that ride. I didn't like the possibility of being on that ride if an earthquake happened. Like, I don't like the swinging enough, and if you have a good enough earthquake, that thing is gonna be like da, 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 da. So yeah, good riddance to the Windseeker. John says everyone must ride the top Thrill Dragster at Cedar Point. I could not agree with you anymore. the Top Thrill Dragster definitely is on my roller coaster bucket list, I guess you could call it. I do want to get up to Cedar Point at some point, because I mean Magnum XL, Top Thrill Dragster. What's the other big one that's at Cedar Point? I cannot remember off the top of my head what it is, but anyway, lots. I mean, there's what, like 13, 15 roller coasters at Cedar Point. Come on, I got to get up there. It's coaster capital of the world. But interesting you bring up the Top Thrill Dragster, because Top Thrill is there's a miniature version of it. It doesn't go as high as Top Thrill, but it's almost the exact same track layout. It's the same gimmick, same track layout, same design company. I think it was Arrowhead, or not Arrowhead, but Arrow. Arrow Engineering. I think I'm trying to remember the name of their company. Yeah, I think it's Arrow. Or Aerodynamics. That's what it is. Arrow, ARROW Dynamics. But yeah, there's it's kind of like a miniature version of it. It's the same roller coaster, just doesn't go up as high. And it's called the Accelerator, and it's at Knott's Berry Farm, just down the street from me. And that is a fantastic roller coaster. I love it. Millennium Force. That's the one I was trying to think of. Yeah, thank you, John. Millennium Force. Yeah, the Accelerator is great. It's so instead of it being like dragster themed, when I go to Cedar Point, let Blue know. Yes, I will let Blue know, because he'll need a coaster buddy, and I will need a coaster buddy, because Barbie doesn't ride the roller coaster so much anymore because she kept getting sick. And I'll let Barbie tell you about that story. So Top Fuel Accelerator. So Top Fuel is like dragster, like NHRA dragster themed, funny cars. Accelerator is more like street racing dragster. The cars on the train are actually modeled after like Chevrolet Bel Airs, like 50, 55, 56, 57 Bel Airs, somewhere in like late 50s era. Chevrolet Bel Air with the flame, they're purple with the flames on the side. They're great. Who's making angry faces? Don't make no angry faces at me. Don't make no angry faces. Don't make those. That's bad. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. Thumbs ups. You want thumbs ups. Anyway, Top Thrill makes Millennium Force look like a kiddie ride. Well, you know what? I haven't been on either one of them, so I can't. Why are you making the angry faces? Why are you making the angry faces? Don't make the angry faces. We like the thumbs ups. We like the hearts. We want to see the hearts. I want the hearts. We need some hearts. Making me. I'm not feeling the love here. I'm not feeling loved. Who's doing that? Anyway, so there's a heart. I saw a heart. Somebody give me the hearts. Somebody's making angry faces. Somebody's trolling me with angry faces. There we go. That's what we like to see. We want to see the thumbs ups. We want to see the likes. We want to see the likes and the hearts. That's what. And we want to share the love. We want to share the love. We got too much anger in this world. Too much anger in this world. We don't want no angry faces. Oh, and the sad faces. That's how I am right now. I'm a sad face because I keep getting the angry faces. But, I don't know, somebody trolling us. There's a heart. There's some hearts. Let's get the hearts going. There you go. There you go. I love you all. Even the angry faces. Anyway, so, yeah, so Accelerator, really fun. I actually have a great photo of me and John and Barbie riding the Accelerator. And that's actually, it is a fantastic photo, and perhaps I will post it on Facebook at some point, or maybe Barbie can snap a photo of it real quick and post it on the Facebooks, so you all can see it. And it's brilliant, and that's all I can really say. And it's just the three of us going, ah! But But you know what? This is probably going to be the most reacted video I've ever done. And it's going to be like Mark Zuckerberg's going to be like, what is going on? Who is this guy? Why is he so controversial? Either they love him or they hate him. What's going on? Oh, boy. So, oh, we're having too much fun today. So anyway, this is what it's all about. I love having fun with you guys. This is what makes Wednesday traffic so much more enjoyable, and I thank you for that. So anyway, so if you get a chance to if you get a break from the hearts, let me know what your favorite rides are, what your favorite thrill rides are. We talked about X2, we talked about Top Fuel, Top Thrill, we talked about the Beast and the Son of the Beast and the Georgia Cyclone. What about other parks? So we're talking about Magic Mountain. We've talked about Six Flags Over Georgia. We talked a little bit about Cedar Point. What about other parks? Who's been to a different park? Who's been to we got Knott's Berry Farm, all the other Six Flags parks, the Great Americas and the Whitewaters. I mean, Whitewater counts. Whitewater's got thrill rides. Like the the cliffhanger, where you just freaking drop down like 10 stories or something like that. Cliffhanger and what is it called up there in? I got a few Canadian viewers, so I gotta shout out to my Canadian viewers. What's the name of the park up there in Toronto? It's like Wonderland or something like that. I don't remember. I don't remember exactly what it is. But Wonderland, and then there's like Kings Island, the old Paramount parks. Top Gun is one that I always wanted to ride. Top Gun, and I think they've dismantled it actually, so I don't have a chance to ride that. There was a roller coaster at Kings Island, Top Gun. There was a roller coaster at. It was originally opened as, what did they call it? It was Led Zeppelin The Ride, which to me is probably the best concept for a roller coaster ever. Like the pool with all the urine. What? Huh? Wait, what? What about a pool? I have no idea what's going on. There was this roller coaster. It was Led Zeppelin The Ride. It was at the ill-fated, what was it called? Hard Rock Park. Yeah, Hard Rock International decided that, let's open a theme park in Myrtle Beach. But in order to open a theme park, we don't want to have competition from any other amusement parks. Top Gun is gone. It was lame. Okay, well, I guess I didn't miss much then. Hard Rock did not want, and this is all allegations on my part. This is circumspect. I don't have any sort of hard evidence to say that this is actually what happened, but this is my idea of what went down. Hard Rock went to the big real estate developer in. No, it was not actually. It was only like 3.5 minutes, but whatever. I will tell you about this in a minute. So HRI went to the big real estate developer in Myrtle Beach and said, we want you to shut down your amusement park. And they were like, okay, we can develop into the condos. Sure, we'll do it. And so they bought all this land like outside of town and developed Hard Rock Park. And it was going to be a theme park based around music, which is an interesting idea. Not pulled off very well, though. So this whole thing had this big extravaganza, and they were going to be like Disneyland, and they were going to have fireworks shows every night, and this and that, and then the whole like financial collapse in 2007. And and so like just everything fell apart. Like they were charged. It was like freaking Disneyland prices to get in. It was like $100 a ticket to get in, and they didn't offer discounts to locals like every other. There's every other freaking amusement park and attraction in Myrtle Beach offers discounts to the locals, because I mean they make their bread and butter off tourist season, so they charge higher prices to the tourists, and then they just charge like normal prices to everybody else. But you just have to show ID and say, you know, you're a local. It's kind of like what Disneyland does here. They do the Southern California Pass, so they offer a discount to the locals essentially to keep people in. So they developed this Hard Rock Park, and they just had a really terrible idea. I mean, a great, well, kind of an okay idea, and a really terrible execution. So the park literally like went bankrupt and closed. They folded after like 2 months. They were open for like 2 months, and then shut down. And then and then this German outfit bought it and kind of retooled it, because they didn't have the licenses anymore. They retooled it and called it the Freestyle Music Park. So they had all the same rides, they just re-themed everything without the licenses. So Led Zeppelin the ride became the Time Machine, which is weird and different. So what they did was, so Led Zeppelin the ride was actually a pretty cool concept, a really interesting concept in the sort of multimedia experience deal, where it was a, just a, kind of a generic roller coaster, generic inverted steel roller coaster. It's fun. It's a really fun roller coaster. You can actually find ride video of it on YouTube, I'm sure. Just look up. You'll probably find it under the Time Machine. You probably won't find it under Led Zeppelin the ride. But the gimmick behind Led Zeppelin the ride was that it was the ride was actually set to music. So they had this remix of, I mean, when I say remix, I mean like an actual like faithful kind of like a radio edit sort of, even though radio edits are kind of terrible usually. But this is actually a really spiritually faithful remix of Whole Lotta Love. And so you're riding around, on a whole lot of love, on a whole lot of love, going through loops and stuff like that. It was kind of a cool idea. It was too ambitious in the grand scheme of it. And then it became the Time Machine, and Time Machine was an interesting concept. Took the same idea of syncing a mixtape from a particular decade, so it was kind of random which one you got, and you like go through a big door that was marked with a particular decade from like the 70s to the 2000s, and when you get on the ride, the music that the ride is synced to is like this mixtape from that decade. That was a cool idea. I had fun. I enjoyed the ride. I enjoyed it. I mean, there's nothing really to write home about. It's a cool, like I said, it's a cool concept, but it's just kind of a generic roller coaster. But it was fun, and it had a neat little gimmick, and it was a lot of fun with the. I want to say it was the '60s. I think it was this. No, the 90s. The 90s was cool because it was like almost all of it was centered around Blur Song 2. So it was like you're going over hills and go, woohoo! It was fun, cool thing like that. And I think the 60s was centered around Miserlou. So it's like, the Pulp Fiction theme, if you don't know Miserlou. It's hard to sing, so, with the guitar. Anyway, so that was the Time Machine. John says Jazzland. Oh, you're talking about Dixieland, I think. Six Flags Dixieland, whatever it was. Six Flags Jazzland. I forgot what it was. Six Flags New Orleans, whatever it was called. It used to be something else. Then Six Flags bought it and destroyed it. Six Flags bought it, ran it into the ground, and Hurricane Katrina destroyed it. Because the whole thing, sat... if you've ever seen Six Flags Over Georgia, after a heavy rain, part of the park sits, in the floodplain. and it sits in a floodplain. So there's like the Chattahoochee River, and then there's like a little lake, and there's a low-lying area that the Scream Machine is built in. The Scream Machine and the Viper, not the Viper, the Ninja. Those two roller coasters are built in this like low-lying area in the floodplain on the Chattahoochee. And after a good heavy rain, that area floods. It floods, I mean, consistently. And actually, the roller coasters had to be retrofitted for flood damage, to prevent flood damage. That's why Ninja sits up as high as it does off the water. It's the boarding station is built on the hill, like up on the hill, and you'll notice the ride sits on these pylons like 25 feet up. 25, 30 feet up off the ground below it. And that's why. It's because of the flooding. They knew it was going to flood. They knew the area was prone to flooding. So they built it way up on stilts, which is an interesting idea too. But like Jazzland or Dixieland or whatever it was called, that whole park was built in a hole. Like literally down in a hole that's like 3 feet below everything else around it. So when Hurricane Katrina came by, it just dumped all this water in there, and the whole place was flooded under 3 feet of water for months. Couldn't do anything. I mean, it was literally underwater for 3 months, or however many months it was. And so Six Flags was just like, screw it, we're done, bye. And they I don't even think they sold it off. I think they just sort of abandoned it, and it's kind of become this like target for urban exploration. So like it's kind of cool, kind of really creepy too. I mean, an abandoned amusement park with a carnival theme, a Mardi Gras type theme. All the grotesque masks and things like that. It's like, oh my god, what is going on here? This is terrible and frightening and terrifying. But yeah, so it's kind of a weird thing about that. And I think they've like filmed some movies there or something. I think they filmed Zombieland there. Who was in Zombieland? I don't remember. What's his name? Freaking God, I can't think of his name right now. Not Ed Harris. Who was in Zombieland? Somebody comment if they remember who was in Zombieland. Yeah, so that's a weird little thing. So Myrtle Beach, there was a really good roller coaster. A classic tubular steel inverted roller coaster there at the pavilion of Myrtle Beach called the Corkscrew. Aptly named because that was its sort of defining feature. Was you kind of went around a few maneuvers and you went through a series of corkscrews before coming back to the station. Simple ride, very simple rock basic kind of roller coaster, but it did well where it was because it was something very quick and very small and could it was an attraction at a small park at a seaside resort town. So why not? That was a really great roller coaster. I enjoyed that one. Sadly, they tore it down to build this monstrosity called the Hurricane Category 5, which, I don't know, appears to me to have been designed to withstand a Category 5 hurricane, because it was one of those like new school wooden roller coasters where they over-engineered the thing to be so freaking rigid that it wouldn't move, it wouldn't give. And that's part of the engineering behind a wooden roller coaster, is that you have to have some give. You got to have a little sway in the design, because otherwise, where is all that rattling going to go? Where is all that shaking? Where is that going to go? It's going to go right back into the rider. And oh my god, I rode this thing and it hurt. I mean, I felt like my pancreas had burst on that ride. It was terrible. And I feel like that was part of the reason that I feel like that was part of the downfall of the pavilion at Myrtle Beach. It was they'd sunk all this money. I mean, tens of millions of dollars. Like, I think the ride cost like $50 million or something like that. Some ridiculous number. And they just sunk all this money into it, and nobody would ride it. I mean, they were charging like $7 a head to ride it, and nobody wanted to ride the thing because it was just terrible. It was a terrible roller coaster. And you know, I hate it. That was probably why the park died. It was right up there, like the Mad Mouse roller coasters. I can't stand Mad Mouse roller coasters. They're like, they try to be little mine trains, and they just don't do the mine train thing well enough. Like, they're just trying to buck you around and do like silly things like that. And I don't enjoy a roller coaster that its sole purpose is to just make you go all the time. I want something that's fun. I want something that's going to put me through some paces. I want something that's going to put me through some maneuvers. I want something that I enjoy riding. It's like Ghost Rider over here in Knott's Berry Farm. Same kind of idea, this wooden roller coaster that was built in the late 90s and had to go through this like hyper engineering in order to be structurally sound and fit all the late 90s building codes that went into place. So it's not allowed to sway, it's not allowed to give, and it just transfers all that energy right back into the rider. It just beats the hell out of you. That is not a good roller coaster for me. And I think some people complain about the Georgia Cyclone in that respect too, and kind of bringing it full circle here. But I mean, it is what it is. I enjoyed the Cyclone. I had a lot of fun on that. Great American Scream Machine is absolutely one of my favorite roller coasters at Six Flags. Roller coasters, period. It's plenty of speed. It's a big sprawling layout. It's an out and back type of layout. I find those more entertaining than the really confined, the ones that fold in on top of themselves. I do like that design in a way. Lots of fan turns, a lot of fun, but there's just something about a big out and back roller coaster with lots of hills, lots of bunny hops. It's just fun. Where the whole point of the coaster is to make you feel like you're just going to get bucked off. At the top of the hill, it makes you feel like you're just going to keep flying off. And, there's a lot of fun like that. There's a fun in that. But that's all I've got for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. It has been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun. We're here every Wednesday, 5 o'clock Pacific time, Freeway Forum. Again, this is a show that is driven by you guys. So please come back. I appreciate you guys being here. Check out the replay on YouTube next week. And for all my other videos, go to youtube.com/theairbornesurfer. Follow on Twitter at airbornesurfer. And of course, everything is available at airbornesurfer.com. My name is Atari. This has been a Freeway Forum. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And until next time, tally ho, y'all.